Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Discuss Detroit. I'm Jeanette Pierce, your host, and I am with the Detroit Experience Factory and City Institute. And this is Discuss Detroit, where we talk with local residents, small business owners, and today artists about Detroit, the city that we love. So today I want to welcome Dominick Lemonious and hear about his work in the art world in Detroit today. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Thanks so much for taking the time and for all the cool stuff you're doing in Detroit. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Give us your 2-minute life story.
Okay. Well, first of all, I am a self-taught artist from Detroit, Michigan. I really wanted to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I have a marketing background, and I tried to merge marketing background with, something that I really enjoy doing, storytelling with art. And so I figured that I really wanted to be an artist, and so I took the leap of faith. Moving back to Detroit, I really found a family of artists in the Detroit Fine Arts Breakfast Club. They really gave me a lot of guidance, helped me get into different shows, helped me sell different work. And so I've been really building and growing and, learning ever since.
Awesome. So growing up in Detroit, really quick, backpedaling a little bit. So you grew up East Side, West Side?
I'm from the West Side.
Okay. All right. Well, we can still be friends. It's all about bridging borders, as an
I'm
East
from the
Sider.
West Side. I think most of my adult life I have lived on the East Side now.
There you go. So I lived on the West Side by 2 blocks for a few years there. But and then you went away. So you got to see beyond Detroit. Talk to us a little bit about your experience and where you went, and then when you came back.
Absolutely. So I went away for school in Durham, North Carolina. I went to an HBCU, North Carolina Central University.
Nice.
Top tier, absolutely wonderful place to be. I would highly recommend. You feel me? Um,
Yeah.
but when I was at school, I studied business marketing. And like I said, I really wanted to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, what I was passionate about. And so I did a lot of self diving. And what came out of it is that um, I really wanted to be an artist. That was like the one thing that stood out to me that was a positive in my life that really kept me going. So I just followed my heart, followed my passion, and I kind of just kept going.
And it
And
brought you
then,
back to Detroit, what your home.
absolutely.
That's
And it was
awesome.
really perfect timing because the art scene and just Detroit in general is really on the come up. It's rising, and so I feel like it's just the perfect time to be an artist in Detroit.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's always important to, I mean, I love Detroit more than anything, my husband and kids now, but it's a close second there, right? But it's so important to go, so to travel or to spend some time somewhere else, I think, or it helps if you have that opportunity, because I think you actually learn sometimes more about Detroit when you go away, right? Or you experience things in other places. You're like, oh, I thought everybody had that these awesome cultural institutions, or this long history, and everybody has it, every other city has it in some way. But you ended up coming back. So that was that. What did you learn kind of about Detroit, or how was North Carolina? What was different, what was the same? Any lessons learned from that?
I definitely learned a lot of lessons in Durham. But I think the big thing about Detroit is just is history and the growth that the city is experiencing right now. Right now, Detroit is really kind of like wide open because of all the abandoned buildings, and a lot of people are starting to move in the downtown area. So there's a lot of resources starting to come back to the city. And with the resources, a lot of opportunity coming back also.
And
So I kind of realized the opportunity being in Durham. You have that outside perspective.
Mhm.
So I came back with the mentality that, if the city is on the rise and if the city is picking up like that, I wanted to make sure I could find some way that I could grow with the city. Definitely find my mix in the come up.
And I see also a lot of there's it's like art used to be more underground, and obviously it still exists kind of in the underground space as well. But now, you know, you have cities, you know, and the powers that be, if you will, recognizing the importance of art and artists and hiring them to do you know, big formal projects, which that before would have been just cool murals that someone would have done technically illegally, but it would have been awesome. And now you see cities, especially Detroit, embracing that art, especially public art outside, can have a huge impact on a place. And like you said, we have a lot of buildings, we have a lot of walls that can really utilize that. So you told me about a project you did in Highland Park. Tell me a little bit about that. Speaking of
Absolutely.
cities, speaking of cities, you know, getting art projects going.
This is actually a perfect example. So the project that we worked on was a bridge between Detroit and Highland Park, and it was really to turn an area from blight to beauty. And so what they had us do is there's a water reservoir in the Highland Park, um, and it has about maybe 108 panels, I believe, spanning about a mile length from end to end. And they had different artists come out and paint different murals in these panels to represent Detroit's history, you know, what makes Detroit special and things like that. So I got a chance to help transition and beautify that area with some art.
Let's go look at it. So, so this is one of the things we get to use on our virtual tours. I mean, we very much wish and can't wait to get back safely in person to getting people out to see these things. And I'd love to talk, you know, with you in person sometime. But this is one of the upsides of the virtual conversation is we can just pop on over and see this is the reservoir. So you were talking about how long it is. And here at DeQuinder near McNichols. And these are just some of the murals that I've painted. And this one, if you want to tell us them a little bit about your piece right here.
Yes, excuse me. So this is my first mural, actually. And what I painted is the first African American to play for the Detroit Pistons, and he was actually the first African American to play in the NBA. And this man's name is Earl Lloyd. And so I was really excited to, you know, be able to show some Detroit history, you know, teach some individuals about something they might not have ever known, and you know, highlight someone who's made an impact on the city.
That's awesome. And you know, some people might think, oh, you know, it's cool murals, but you know, does it really have a huge impact? And I think the answer is absolutely yes. You know, and this is where we can say, because would you rather have, you know, would we even be talking about this Highland Park reservoir, which they're trying to redevelop in this area, and B, you have multiple artists coming together, right? So you worked with other artists. Did you know some? Did you know some beforehand? Did you meet some during this project?
So I definitely did know some artists beforehand from the Detroit Fine Arts Breakfast Club, and I also did meet some individuals while working on this project. Some of the people who were working with me were Lamika Riley, Walter Bailey, Damon Firstborn, a couple other individuals who I've met along the way. But just to touch quickly on, you know, how this specific project
Yeah,
impacted the community. While we were painting the project, people would drive by, take pictures. People would like cheer us on, you know, say how encouraging and really cool it is that we've really transitioned this whole piece and kind of transitioned the community. And one of my favorite stories or things that happened is there was a bus driver, and every time he came by and we were out there working, he would honk. He actually he actually pulled over to congratulate us and say how much he really appreciated it. And so, you know, it kind of just shows you what the impact that art can have.
absolutely. And we can actually go see, you know, what it used to look like before. So, I mean, especially like when you said when this is 2015, right? This is what it looked like before you started painting. You know, nothing, just no one's driving by honking, it's not making anybody smile. It's just kind of a honestly forgotten piece, or just not noticeable. And so the impact of what you can do with, here's getting ready to paint it. And and then now you have this destination, right? And I don't think a lot of people know about it. I'm glad to, that you brought it to my attention, and I'm glad that Google Street View has it, and I'm excited to actually drive by it sometime. And that's kind of the power. I mean, this is a outdoor museum, right? I mean, it's not, you have not just one mural, but there's dozens of murals. And I know that the project, because there's so many different spaces, that the big idea is that maybe, in the future, that you'd have almost like 200 different murals along here, right?
Absolutely. And so it is definitely a destination place. And when the project is finished, it's definitely going to be one of the largest collective set of murals in the city and probably in the state. I'm not going to sure,
Yeah,
put it out there, but
200
it's
for sure. I mean,
definitely a,
and we can also zoom out from, yeah, I mean, it would absolutely be one of the largest. So just to give people context about where we're talking about, and hopefully I don't have too much internet issues. But it is right here. So here's Woodward, here's McNichols, here's the Davison. And if you just Google the Highland Park Water Department, so it's Tequinder here, and right by Nick McNichols, right by Buddy's Pizza, right by right off the freeway here. So definitely go check that out. And it's a really cool project that I'm looking forward to see what comes of it in the future. Speaking of your work, though, so you said you don't normally do murals, right? So talk to us about it. I'm going to pull up a couple pieces here. So this is one of your pieces, and this is your Instagram where people can follow you at _Lemonious. So talk to us about this piece and your work in general.
okay. So for this particular piece and my work in general, I have been recently working with painting and drawing different figures in sign language. So I like to create positive messages, inspirational messages, motivational messages. For anybody going through things or on good days and bad days, just for people to see, to keep going. Whatever it is that you're going through, whatever you're trying to accomplish, just a heads up, just a reminder, to keep going. And so, kind of my main objective is to have these positive and motivational pieces in people's home, people's space, and for them to see every day. Because I just understand that seeing is believing, and when you see it, you kind of say it in your head, you might say it out loud, and speaking it to an existence is also a form of believing. So the more you see it, the more you say it to yourself, the more you believe it, the more it comes true. And so that's kind of how I approach a lot of my work.
Awesome. And so using sign language in hand, so talk to us a little bit about this, this style that, and it's really kind of, I think, a unique, like how you landed as this as kind of your um, main focus for your work, hands, right?
Yes. Long story short, I created a project called Perspective where I had the world in the background. I kind of like, it was almost as I was how I viewed the world. And I painted my hands to see like, how I viewed the world. And I really liked the piece. I really liked how I painted my hands, and I got a lot of positive feedback. So I wanted to figure out how to keep painting hands and how much we express with our hands. A lot of art is about expression in the body, in the face, movement, things like that. But you forget how much we use our hands, how much we express with our hands. And I had the idea of making a word with sign language, or just, and so I kind of just kept it going. And so this is an example of spelling out love. This is something that you can see, something that you can, enjoy every day, if so, because it is for sale.
Yes, and this was in a few exhibits, but yes, and it is for sale. So and the best way to get a hold of you is maybe through Instagram, or we can share other information, whatever you prefer.
Yes. As of right now, majority of my work and my collection is on Instagram. If you are to see anything you're interested in, or something that catches your eye, or even something that you might like to see, you can reach out to me, and we can make something happen.
Awesome. Talk to us about this piece. Powerful.
Okay. One of my favorite artists right now, or even in general, is definitely Diego Rivera, just because of how he creates compositions, he story tells, and just the detail. This is a fresco. So what I did is I took a day at the DIA and I kind of sat in Rivera's court, and I drew the fish that you see at the top of the picture. And I went back to kind of show you the comparison of what I came up with compared to one of the greats. So I really want to emphasize that I'm trying to learn from the greats so I can, be the best artist that I can be.
And that's one of the things I think we do sometimes take for granted, the amazing artists we have in Detroit history and even today. I mean, the Diego Rivera mural that I always tell people, because we have it, people go to it as a kid, you're like, okay, yeah, yeah. But no, the New York Times art critic said it's the closest thing America has to the Sistine Chapel. This is people come from around the world to see this fresco that we have right here, that we, again, I think don't realize sometimes how amazing it is. We actually did with and his wife Frida Kahlo, of course, were in Detroit painting this in 1932, and then they did an exhibit recently, like the last few years, about Frida and Diego in Detroit. We created a tour that kind of talked about their life in Detroit, from living at the Park Shelton to being at Henry Ford Hospital for a tragic event. I mean, it's world history, but it's in Detroit. And then you have artists that are around today that are still having a huge impact. And talk to us about some of those people. I heard you grew up with one of Detroit's most famous artists.
Yes, and that's actually where I get a lot of my inspiration from. When I moved back to Detroit, I definitely seek tutelage and mentorship from Hubert Massey. And Hubert Massey is one of the only individuals in the world who knows how to fresco paint, as does Diego Rivera. So absolutely, one of my biggest inspirations. Um, when I moved back, I was actually able to see him work on and complete the fresco mural that he did at the TCF Center. So that was very cool, very inspirational. And there's many other artists that I, really learn from, and different things like that, just coming from the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up. I want, because this is an amazing, I mean, so for those that aren't familiar, Hubert Massey is one of Detroit's just most amazing artists, longtime artist, but still going strong. And this is him painting that fresco that you were talking about at TCF Center. But he also has pieces all around the city at the Charles H. Wright Museum. Did a new one at the Ella Fitzgerald Park on the west side over there, but he's absolutely amazing. And for those that aren't familiar, the fresco is painting onto wet plaster, right? If you might remember from a humanities class back in the day or whatever. But um, so that's awesome. And you found, it sounds like that you found that the uh, artists in Detroit are open to helping, young artists, and artists who are farther along are open to helping artists who are, just getting started.
Absolutely. And that's one of the great things that was about the Detroit Finance Breakfast Club, and it still is. We used to meet every Monday at the Noni's Sherwood Forest Grill, Coney Island on the west side. But of course, because of the pandemic, everything has to go digital, But the group still pushes along, and they meet every Monday through Zoom and things like that. But I definitely got a chance to learn from a lot of artists, get some inspiration, some motivation from how people get the work out there, how much their work ethic is, you know, just how creative individuals are.
Yeah. Well, and artists, I mean, people who are not artists, and I'm not an artist, but I feel like I've worked with people enough to that I appreciate it, like, and the amount of work. To your point, what I was going to say was that some people not connected to artists or who aren't don't appreciate as much write it off as like, oh, it's just this easy thing or something, and that is the farthest thing from the truth, right? I mean, the amount of time and effort to create, just one piece, and also all of the time before to even get to the point that you can, have the skill to do that one piece. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me as someone who can't draw a straight line, um, but I think, have you found that people uh, get it, the amount of work that you have to put into it, or sometimes you have to be an artist to understand it?
I think that, you know, you might have to be an artist to really understand that. For me, when I first started, it would take me at least like 2, 3 weeks, maybe a month to complete one piece. And so, you know, everyone sees the finished product. Everyone's blown away by the finished product, but they don't really know how much work actually goes into, like you're saying, creating the one piece. You know, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Some people get it. Some people want to know what
Right,
the process is, and some people just like, oh, that looks cool, and that's just it.
right. And we got connected this time by Rihanna Stewart from Detroit Experience Factory, because you guys are part of the Challenge Detroit Fellowship this year, right?
Yes.
So how did you get involved with the Challenge Detroit, and how's that been going?
So I've heard about the Challenge Detroit. My sister brought it to my attention. And then I realized that I grew up with an individual who was a fellow from last year. So I asked her about her experience, and if she thinks it was something I should pursue, or if she recommended it. And she said absolutely. And she was telling me about all the networking possibilities, the career opportunities, the growth that you would go, the things that you will learn throughout the year. And so I went ahead and I applied. And I definitely do think that's one of the good decisions I have made since moving back. And since I have been a fellow, they partner me with AAA's, the Auto Club Group. I do marketing, human resources work, and I'm helping them revamp their careers website, helping them market on different social media platforms and things like that. And so I do that Monday through Thursday. And on Friday, we do work with different nonprofits in the city of Detroit. This project specifically, we are working with Grandmont and Rosedale to really get people to support the businesses that they have in the community, kind of help them figure out what they want to do to best move forward with creating a community environment in that area. And so it's definitely been a great opportunity since I've joined the fellowship.
Awesome. And you get to, so you're still using some of that kind of traditional marketing creativity, but then you really get to also, on your own, be able to work on your artistic creativity. So hopefully that sounds like a good kind of a win-win there a little bit.
Yes, yes, it definitely is. Keeps me on my toes.
Awesome. Well, before we wrap up, I want to give you an opportunity to direct everyone who's watching to do something. What's your call to action? What do you want everyone to go out there and do?
My call to action, like I said, I like to paint inspirational, motivational messages. And if there's anything on my page that kind of resonates with you, please share it, you know, because just understand that if it resonates with you, it might resonate with another individual and they might need to see that, you know. And I'm trying to get my work to reach as many people as possible. So I always encourage people to share my work, And if there's anything that you're interested in specifically on my page that you would like to purchase, reach out to me and let me know.
Great. Yeah, so let's just reiterate here. It's underscore Lemonious, Lemonious on Instagram, and check out some of his posts and some of the pieces that he has here. And yeah, share it with other people. So that's really helpful. And also, I mean, art, I feel like people can think, oh, only billionaires get to buy art, and you don't have to be a billionaire to buy art or to have something on your wall that you absolutely love or that was even made for you. So you mentioned you do take custom requests, right? So that's an
Yeah,
option too.
yes. That's definitely an affordable option. I've actually done a couple of commissions recently for some individuals that are looking for sign language pieces or even portrait pieces. So it doesn't have to be sign language. It can be portrait or, whatever you're looking for, and we can work with each other.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and I'm so excited to get to say I knew you when kind of near at the beginning, because I know you're going to be doing great things, and we'll see your name maybe at the DIA one day, or or beyond at the Louvre, or who knows. We're only say he's from Detroit, and I got to talk to him. So, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, and I appreciate you having me.
And thank you everybody for watching. Remember to follow Detroit Experience Factory on Instagram and Facebook as well, and share these Discuss Detroit episodes with anybody you think that wants to know more about Detroit, and join us on one of our virtual tours, or eventually our in-person tours, once we get back to doing that, so that you can learn more about the city that we all love, Detroit. Have a great day.